Well, hello everybody. How are you guys doing? This is Dr. Carmen Bryan and this is Car Chronicles. How are you guys doing? Good to see you all. Look at this beautiful day out here. Look at that. We got sun. Spring is trying to push through and we almost at summer over here in Washington. Well, I hope you guys are doing good. You guys ready? Let's do this. Have you guys ever heard of the Johari window? I learned about the Johari window. I hope I'm saying that right. Johari window when I was in the military. And I was going through equal opportunity classes. Now, I'm going to explain this to you, and I want you to apply it to yourself. And then I want you to think about the narcissists that you have dealt with, or now the people that you deal with in general that may have narcissistic traits. But I want you to think about yourself, but then I want you to also think about that narcissist that you have dealt with, that you were in a situationship with. Okay, so the Johari window is a technique to help people recognize themselves and their relationships with other people, or to better understand themselves and their relationships with other people. The first window, and it's in a square, and then there's 4 quadrants. So in the first window, you're dealing with what you know about yourself that other people know. It's the public arena, or the public. So this is things that is obvious to yourself and is obvious to the people around you, and it matches, you know, what they see about you, what you know about yourself, and what they know about you as well. If you go to the left to the right, let me think. I'm going to go from the left to the right. Then there's what's called a blind spot. So there are things that people know about you that you don't know about yourself, or you don't realize about yourself. You know, you may see yourself as a leader, but people see you as unreliable. You know, you may see yourself as a very friendly, nice person, but people see you as you are mean, aggressive, and angry, and hateful. You know, and think about like narcissists. They always try to... I'm going to get to that in a minute. Then there is what's hidden, or the facade, meaning there's things about you that you hide from the public, like people that are depressed, that try to make themselves look like they're not depressed, so people don't even realize that a person is depressed or anxious or afraid. You know, they put on this facade. Think about it. A facade. To go out in public, to be around people, they live their life in a facade. And if you live your life in a facade long enough, it starts falling apart because you can't remember the storylines you're putting together in order to hold yourself together, to stay hidden behind that facade. And isn't that like the narcissist that hides behind a mask? You know, so that facade that they present to people, eventually you can't hold on to that facade very long, or a narcissist cannot hold on to that facade very long, and they start losing that mask, starts slipping off, and you begin to see the real person behind that mask. Then you have the unknown. So what's unknown to you and what's unknown to people of the public. And in the unknown area, you know, and I was reading this when they were describing it, is that's how some unlikely heroes come out, because in the midst of pressure, you would do things, or things happen that you would never expect for yourself to do. You know, when you have active shooters and this person goes after this person and saves all the people, or you become a coward, you know, and it's not a coward. Let me take that back, because that doesn't mean you're a coward. Forgive me for saying that. I didn't mean to say that. That doesn't mean you're a coward. It just means that you have the fight, flight, or freeze, and you know, you much rather get out of that. So the word coward was wrong, and I apologize for that. But you know, in the midst of dilemma, you're either going to run, or you find out some unlikely heroes that go and attack, you know, an active shooter, or, you know, you find out that you will run. I will run to protect my life. You know, that's how we talk about, like in the trauma bonding, or what's called the Stockholm syndrome, when you are in so much fear that you side with the person that has the power to unalive you. And that's where that Stockholm syndrome, or that trauma bonding come. For a lot of you, it's a shock that you did some of the things that you did, or things happened the way that they happened because you were trying to survive. And so that's the unknown area. So let's go back to the blind spot area when you're dealing with a narcissist. Now, the blind spot area is where people can see things about you that you don't see about yourself. You see yourself as one way, but they don't see you the way that you see yourself. Now, for most of us, we do know that constructive criticism can be very painful. You know, it's like a stab, you know, and especially for those people who have come from homes or backgrounds where there has been rejection or abandonment issues. You know, you could be at work and really, believe it or not, you know, just to give you some comfort, if you are working for a company where you have a supervisor or manager, and I'm not saying the abusive ones, but you do want them to provide you with feedback. You do want them to provide you constructive criticism to help you get better. And if you have a good manager that does not have a problem correcting your faults, but helping you to strengthen your, help you to strengthen your strengths and take those weaknesses to help you fix those weaknesses, to give you constructive criticism, to help you to stay on top of you, to keep their foot on your neck, and they want to see you excel. They want to see you better. And if you notice, there's a balance between the constructive criticism and the applause. I'm not going to over applaud you because I don't want you to get too comfortable in this area because I see too much potential in you. One of the biggest problems that you're having right now is this right here, which is hindering this right here. Don't get the big head, because when you get into this area, so when you have somebody that's willing, you have to know their character, and that's willing to help you excel. Constructive criticism is very, very productive. However, when you have been hurt or you have dealt with a lot of rejection and abandonment in your life, that's a trigger, because you already have that narcissist that has planted seeds, or that abusive person that has planted seeds in you, and they're sitting there like sleeper cells. And they are waiting for someone to say something, and it triggers you to believe. It's like the thought explodes, and you start believing, I'm always a failure. I can never do anything right. The constructive criticism can be very, very painful. And it makes it very hard sometimes for people to make it back to work. They're embarrassed. They're ashamed. And if you have a good manager, you don't have to be embarrassed and ashamed. I started off the same way. But I see a lot of potential in you. And I'm willing to make an investment in you because I can see you going far. But I'm going to get you while you're here. Because if I can't get you while you're here, when you get up to where you're going, if you don't fix this right here, this problem right here has become bigger up here. That's a narcissist. And and when I say that's a narcissist, those problems get bigger because they don't allow people to correct them, because they're triggered, because they're already vulnerable. These narcissists are already vulnerable. They're already dealing with rejection and abandonment issue. That's why they have these blind spots, and they do not want anybody to say anything to them, because it's just a confirmation of what they already feel about themselves. They walk around looking very confident. They walk around and you think that they're the most confident, self-sufficient, high self-esteem people. That's called the facade. There's things that they know about themselves. They're not going to verbalize it because they're not going to try to agree with you. But but it's that Johari window. And that's a good technique to use to look at yourself, and then to even look at that narcissist, because that blind spot is what that narcissist, they live in a blind spot. They refuse it. They're the most rebellious individuals that you'll ever meet. And mothers, fathers, grandparents, whoever you are that are raising kids, aunties, play cousins, whoever you are that are raising someone's child or raising your own child or grandchildren, you have to correct them while they're young. You don't let them live a life of rebellion. Little kids are rebellious because they're trying their authority. They're learning it. They're mirroring you. They want the power that you have. So they're going to try your authority. And you cannot give in to little kids, because what you're doing is you're feeding into the rebellion. And the rebellion gets worse and worse and worse. The temper tantrums get worse and worse and worse. Some of you have been with these narcissists, and they're having temper tantrums, and you're looking at them thinking to yourself, the only thing this grown man or this grown woman hasn't done is throw themselves on the ground and start flailing their wings, start flailing their arms and their legs. Now, so I've seen it before. I've seen grown people do that. I promise you I've seen grown people do that. But you're looking at this narcissist thinking to yourself, the only thing you didn't do is fall on the ground like little kids and start kicking your feet and flailing your arms all over the place, trying to get what you want. But they're having big grown people temper tantrum, and they're rebellious. You tell them to go left, they go right. You tell them no, they're going to find a way to get a yes out of you. You can't tell them, and as the older that they get, the less they want anybody to tell them what they do. A lot of them have problems at work because they don't want people to tell them what they do. If they don't feel like coming to work, they're not going to come to work, and they're going to come up with all sorts of excuses as why they should not be at work. Or they'll try to come and cover up, and when they get caught and they're lying, they're angry because the person knows that they're lying. That's the sad part, that they get angry at people when they catch them lying. And now they're having this, now they're using the manipulation and gaslighting and diverting the attention and projecting on you. And it's because of the fact that they got caught in a lie. And they know that they got caught in a lie, but they're going to argue you down, keep you up, to force you to change your mind about what they didn't do that they actually did. Isn't that confusing? But go check out the Johari. It's Johari window. Johari's window. Go check it out. See you later.